So, Pam, I see you're on the line.
Good afternoon.
Hey, and I started the meeting, so I'm sending you a message.
Awesome.
Oh, I think somebody just joined us. Angela. All right. Good afternoon. It is 4 o'clock. This is the NCEES Transfer Credit Manager and PD Playlist Focus Session. There is a Bitly on the screen. If you want to take a moment and navigate to that Bitly, you'll have access to the slides. They'll also be included as a PDF version in the follow-up email, and I'll include this link as well. So I see we have one attendee. So Angela, I just want to make sure you can hear us. So if you can hear me, raise your hand. Thank you. And can you see this? I'm gonna put your hand down. And can you see the screen? Please raise your hand. All right. Thank you. All right. So you may get a one-on-one focus session today, Angela. We'll give folks a couple minutes to get on here. Um, Kim Simmons couldn't join me today. I'll come back to that. She's usually helping me present. Pam Batchelor is on the call today. Pam, I know you have 6 little ones, so okay, Angela, I'll get it back to you. Um, so if you need to drop off, that's fine. I think Angela and I can handle this, but if you like to stay on board, great. So let me put the Bitly back up there, and I'll type it in the question box as well. So today we were just going to do an overview on what folks are doing with Transfer Credit Manager. It's brand new. We are still working out some of the kinks as far as what you have access to and what you need access to use that Transfer Credit Manager. All right, I just put the Bitly into the question panel as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. So I think you should have access to that Bitly now, Angela. If you need any more help with that, just let me know. And it looks like Pam also put it in the chat box. Great, thank you. All right, there will be a follow-up email 24 hours after the webinar ends. You'll get a certificate of completion in there that you can present to your district for approval for attending the webinar and the 0.5 CEUs that are earned. There will be a link to the recording of the webinar. And we have a feedback survey that we ask you to complete for us. We always value the feedback from our attendees to the webinars. It helps us improve our webinars for the future and get you guys what you'd like to hear about. So I am Cami Nairn. I do manage the NCEES product, the North Carolina Educator Effectiveness System, for you on the system side. Kim Simmons, who usually joins us, she can answer any policy questions you have about evaluations in the system. Today we're talking about more maybe about the PD and credit side of the system. So our agenda for today is we're going to take a look at the transcript. Just want to get a good look at the staff transcript and just to see what the goal is, where those CEU credits are going for staff that are in NCEES. And who can edit that transcript? We do have a process for that now. Districts can choose to allow somebody to do that. We're going to talk about then the Transfer Credit Manager, the big new updated system, how to navigate it, what roles are in Transfer Credit Manager, how do you get those roles, and then how do you enter credit requests. We'll take questions around then. But Angela, since you're here by yourself, if you'd like to unmute, I'm perfectly fine with that. Or if you want to type questions into the question panel, and we'll take questions as you come up with questions. And then we're going to look at PD playlist, navigating that PD playlist, the PD playlist roles, and how to get those. And then take a look at creating a playlist. And then finally, I have a few slides at the end for resources for you and time for additional questions. All right, so we're going to stick in the slides for a few minutes, and then I'd kind of like to go to the live side to actually look at Transfer Credit Manager. So let's just take a look at the transcript while we're in the slides. So how do you locate a transcript? The teachers and support staff, anybody that has access and that gets a transcript and earns credits, they would navigate to the My Courses tab in NCEES, and then they find the My Courses container. It's usually right at the top, and there's a My Transcript button. For PD office, district, and lead site administrators, lead site administrators is the head principal, not your APs. Even if you give an AP site admin, they may not have access to system administration. So it's going to be your lead principal. They would navigate the System Administration tab, and then there's a link under System Administration header called Staff Dashboards. They're going to go to the dashboard, select a single or group of staff in the first column. In the middle column, you're going to select a certain staff, a specific staff. And then on the right, you're going to select individual information. We'll take a look at all of this. From there, you can get to their transcript. It populates on that screen, but you can also navigate to the transcript in case you need to print it out as an administrator. Then district admins also have another navigation. They can actually go under System Administration and go to their user accounts page. This is where they see all the staff in their location, and there's a drop-down arrow there where they can select to view transcript. So here's what the teacher sees when they go to the My Courses tab. This year we did split out the Professional Development tab into two. So we kept one tab called Professional Development, where they can search for professional courses and learning opportunities. And we created a My Courses tab, and this is where this now lives. So the My Courses are now on the My Courses tab in the My Courses container. Click on the My Transcript link. So this is the staff dashboard view in the system. So if you are an administrator, you can navigate here. You go to System Administration, and then in the rail, you're going to choose Staff Dashboards, and it brings you to this page. You're going to drill down. There's several different ways in this column 1 that you can actually search by district, by staff name, staff groups if you created staff groups. There's several ways to search. Here I've browsed by staff by site. So I went and looked in my training district. I found it populates the names when I check the box. So I put myself on here. And then over on the right in number 3, you want to be on the individual information tab. And then in number 4, the transcript tab. And notice that here it automatically populates just for a view. From there, an admin can click Go to Transcript, and we'll look closer at the transcript in a few minutes. Okay, so district admins, they also have another search. So if you're a district administrator, you know about the user accounts page under System Administration. So this is the user administration page that comes up when you click that. And then you got a list of your staff that you can see. And right over on the left by number 2 is the drop-down arrow. Open up that More Options menu, and the very last one is View a Transcript. So you'll be viewing the transcript of the person whose name is beside that arrow. Okay, so that's how to navigate to the different ways to see a staff transcript. Now we just want to get into understanding what is on the transcript. So here is an actual My Transcript page that a teacher would see, that an admin would see if they navigated to a staff transcript. at the top, if your district is doing a lot of PD, and this district I've took a screenshot of, Brunswick, they do tons and tons of PD. So somebody may want to search for a date range. They can do that at the top that I've got scribbled out here. That's what's at the top of the page. Scroll down to the bottom of the page to see the actual transcript. And from here, if you look on the far right, you have your print icons. Admins, teachers, anybody that can get to this page can print a transcript, and they can email a PDF of the transcript. At the bottom, in the middle, are all the tabs for all the potential credit types that can be earned. If you're on the All tab, it's going to show you every credit type that you've earned and all the courses or other areas that credit was put in will be listed. If I only want to look at my literacy credits, I click on the literacy tab, and so on. So then in the bottom, anything that's blue is a link. So here's a link to the course number, the section number. This takes you to those information pages about the course. What most people are looking for is the blue link for the certificate, and I have an arrow pointing to that. This is where they go find their certificate. If this course had a survey, and these two I'm showing do not, it will have a button here that says you must take your survey before you can access the certificate. Notice that they can see that when they've completed it by date and how many credits they earned and what credit type they earned. So here's on the far right under View Transcript CEU Summary. If I were to scroll all the way to the bottom of the transcript, I have a summary box. And it's a quick snapshot for people to see what have I earned, what credit type is it under. And maybe I need literacy credits. Can I ask my district to move some of these general credits to literacy? So your district needs to decide what their policy is. And then at the bottom, since we're talking about Transfer Credit Manager today, when you enter those credits, this is how they look on a staff transcript. It does not have a course number or office where it was created. It does not have section numbers, does have a title, won't have surveys, it does have those start and end dates, does not have a certificate because they've actually probably given you a certificate already for you to enter this transfer credit request. It does list their credit hours and their credit type. All right, any questions about the transcript? So here's a view on how to print the transcript real quick. You can enter the email in the top box. So once you've done the email PDF, it gives you an entry here. And then the subject line is already populated. It's going to say PDF copy of, and it's got a script to pull the transcript owner's name. And it's their transcript. You can change any of this. And you can put a message in here and then just click send email. If you want to send to more than one person, you must separate them by a comma. All right, quick. Who can edit a transcript now? So this is brand new last year. District administrators can now edit a transcript. We had to give the right to district administrators and not PD office administrators because currently PD office administrators cannot actually get to a transcript. The transcript lives on the evaluation side of the system. So district administrators can do this, and a lot of districts give one or two of their PD office administrators district administrator access. So if you do have somebody that you want to allow your teachers to say, hey, I want my transcript and NCEES to match what you've actually approved my credit to apply to, then you can come in here to their transcript. You should have an edit button. And once you click edit, you get this next screenshot down here. The edit button changes into two buttons for save or cancel. And then to the far right, you can change the credit type. You can actually change credit hours, but most people are using this to update that credit type. Okay. Any questions about that side of things? Not seeing any. Okay. All right, Transfer Credit Manager. So everybody now has access to Transfer Credit Manager, even your teachers. Because now the new thing this year was that teachers can enter their own requests. The caveat to that is districts must have an approver in there that can approve the request. So we did send out a message to everybody, but I'm sure teachers have seen this and they're probably entering requests and they're going nowhere because the district needs somebody to approve the request. So here's how to navigate to there in NCEES. There's a Transfer Credit Manager tab in the header that everybody can see. If you're an administrator, you also have under System Administration, under Applications Header, Transfer Credit Manager link. So you can navigate either way. There's a guide right here, and we'll get to that in a minute on the actual process for Transfer Credit Manager. So who can be a Transfer Credit Manager? It has to be somebody with district admin rights or PD office administrator rights. They can manage requests. Admins can view all submitted, approved, or denied requests. Credit approvers can access credit requests, which require approval from the Manage Request screen. So the Manage Transfer Credit Manager Administrator can see all these links. The Transfer Credit Manager Approver can only manage requests that were put in. So I hope that gives you some guidance on who to give what. DPI does have to set those roles for you right now. So manage bulk requests. This is kind of nice. So if you have a local PD opportunity that a bunch of your teachers are going to, you can actually enter that in this bulk request and create the opportunity and then add multiple attendees to it and give them credit for their attendance. And it show up on their NCEES transcript. The My Request. This has been enabled for staff this year. We want more and more to maybe to get away from them having to bring you a sheet of paper. We want them to get it online, going digital, and they can actually fill out the form online now to request that credit for a course or a learning opportunity that they completed elsewhere. Maybe they went to Virginia, took a PD opportunity there, you had approved it ahead of time, they brought you back their certificate of attendance or their certificate for their credit hours earned, and they're asking you to put it in NCEES. So we're going to use Transfer Credit Manager to do that. New credit request for another user. This is what we were using prior to this new update. So they brought you that piece of paper and you entered that new credit request for a single other user. Everybody is seeing this configure emails link if you're an administrator. Do not touch it. This can't be hidden yet by the vendor. They are working on that. These email settings are statewide, so we ask that you not change the email settings. Approval request administration. Admins review the status of request and the approvers, and then you can quickly identify which requests need further attention depending on their status icons. All right, so how do you get these roles? Who can get the roles? And remember, it's the LEA or Charter Professional Development Leads that have NCEES access rights of a district administrator or a PD office administrator. What are the roles? The Transfer Credit Manager Administrator, who can manage all requests and manage all bulk requests. The Transfer Credit Approver can use Manage Requests to approve or deny staff entered my request. How do you get the roles? We're asking you right now to open a ServiceNow ticket. It can be a request ticket, or it can be something is wrong ticket. As long as it gets up to me, you can put attention Cami and Aaron. In that ticket, we need you to include the UID of the staff. We kind of ask that you don't put name and UID together. We can look at the name because we'll have the UID. Need to know what role do they need. If they're going to get a Transfer Credit Manager role, they need at least a PD Office Administrator role. And then we can put them in the buckets for the Credit Manager Administrator or the Credit Approver. You have somebody in your district that is designated to open that ServiceNow ticket request, and we will communicate with them in the ticket. If you need to include your email because you can't open that ticket, just have that ticket opener include your email, and I can reply back by email as well to yourself and the ticket opener. Note, DPI does set the PSU's first NCEES district administrator. So if your district does not have a district administrator yet, that too must come in through a ServiceNow ticket to set those DA rights. I'll do that. And then that DA can set other DA rights. However, they cannot set PD office administrator rights. All right. So we're going to get into Transfer Credit Manager. Here is a link to the guide. You can click on the actual guide, or you can click here on Transfer Credit Manager for administrators. I will create a separate, smaller guide for just the My Request. It was not ready today. We had several meetings this week. So I will try to have this by Friday to include in the newsletter for the My Request guide as well for your teachers. All right, so I'm going to show you what a teacher sees first. So I've got to be somebody else. So we're in the NCEES system now, and I'm going to be a sample person just for a second. So this is a screen the district administrator uses to search for staff. District administrators can become other people, so that's what I'm doing right now. I am now this test user. So notice at the top of the screen, they have this Transfer Credit Manager button. So if they're a teacher, this is all they see. They get the My Request page under the credit request header. They can see their pending and denied requests. They can see any approved requests and any requests that have been archived. At the bottom of the screen, they can see the statuses. This is not submitted yet, the circle with a dash. Here's one that's got a circle with a little timer thing. Pending credit approval, and there's the red declined. Over here, I was wondering if it would show the green one. Yes, here's the green. Once it's approved, they get a green thumbs up. So they start on this first tab. If you want to search a list because you've got a lot of credit requests here, you can search here. DPI credit request approval type is this new credit request. So that's what these are. So they're already sorted. So to create a brand new request as a teacher, I'm going to open this new request over on the right and pick new credit request because that's what DPI is using. So here's our request form, and I will tell you that no matter what the process, this form is the same form in all the processes. It doesn't change. So this is a credit request for PD User 1 test. They would have what event they went to. So maybe I went to Virginia PD event. I can put a description describing what I did. You as a district determine how much they need to enter. This description, notice these little red asterisks. These two fields are required, so they have to put in some type of description. If they want to make it pretty, they've got the little widgets up here. The date started and date completed are also required fields. The hours of the PD is also a required field. You need to determine how many credits they're going to earn. So maybe this was, let's say, a 6-hour event. And then they're going to suggest where the CEUs go. But you need to determine when you approve later which CEUs actually, what CEU credit type is actually approved. They want DLCs. So that would be point 6. There are some instructions as to what this guideline meets. So DPI will be updating these for all these credit types. We just need to find out where to get those guidelines, and then we'll get this updated on the form. They need to attach their evidence of completion. So that can be a certificate. It can be anything that's out here like that. I think I have. So they just attach it there. You decide if this is required for them to attach. We had it required, but it affected the other processes. When people were doing the bulk uploads, they couldn't complete because this was required, but they didn't require the certificates for all the bulk upload credit requests. So we took the credit request requirement off, and now districts, you are in charge of informing your staff if you want that to be a required step. And then, are they required to turn in PD approval signatures? No, they can take a picture of their document, they can scan it, however they can get something to upload here. And it has to be a certain size. There's a megabyte limit of 20 megabytes. Then they can submit this credit for approval. If they want to put a note in before they submit it, they can. Don't need a note today, and it's not required. I'm going to just click submit. Now I get a sample of what I just entered, and I can close that out. Okay, and here it shows on my list of requests that I've put in. Okay, I'm going to stop impersonating that person. Any questions about how your teachers and your principals, anybody that's earning those credits can put in a request? Okay. All right, so then let's just navigate to Transfer Credit Manager. So I do see a couple more links than you see, but you're going to see the Manage Request. Here's some that I need to approve or deny. Manage Bulk Request, we'll look at that real quick. I can put in my own request. I can put in new credit requests for another user, and you can too. I, as a super user, can manage the admin rights. This is where I put your request. If you need to be the person approving, this is where I go to put you in. We at DPI configure approval processes. This configure emails is what you guys see. This is what we ask you not to touch. And then approval request administration. Do we get notification when there is a request? Yes, I need to check with Sean on the emails for this, but yes, they let me click on configure emails real quick. There it is. And I'll take screenshots of this and get them in our slides because I don't think I included these in the slides, but yes, here's the emails that you get when requests are done. Okay. So the Manage Request tab shows me people that I need to approve. This should be fairly limited to your location. Let me know if it's not. The Manage Bulk Request shows you statewide if they're putting in Manage Bulk Request. So when I come in here, I see these new requests that are pending approval. I can click on the title, or I could use the drop down and say View. I'm the credit approver. I look and see what they've entered. I see they've put in a certificate. I can check all that. And then here is my credit approval area. They've requested on this one They've got 5 hours, and they've requested general credits at .5. So I'm going to approve that. So I need to check that we're going to give general credits, and I'm going to enter the .5. And then I can approve or deny this request. If you deny it, I think it gives you a chance to put in a note, and then they can resubmit. So I'm going to approve this one, and I can put in a note. And submit. And they should get an email. All right. Once I'm done, I can come back in here and deny it later, but I just want to return to my pending request. Oops. Oh, that is to return this request back to pending. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to close it. To deny, I can come in here. Here's the drop down. If these have been out here a while and you want to archive them, there's an archive. I can view it instead of clicking the title. Should bring me to the same screen. Here's the credit areas. I can deny this one. Yeah, put in a note. And now it's been denied. All right, so that user should be able to come back in and resubmit it for approval later. So we'll move on. If you don't have any other questions on managing requests, we'll move to manage bulk requests. Here's, see how all these requests have been out here? These are statewide. I know Megan is in Brunswick, so you're going to see a lot of Megan. This is, thought we could do location. You can do updated by, so if this is yours, you can search for you if you're updating this bulk request. I don't have a sample user in here. I was going to show you how to create a new one. So creating a new request, you're going to put the title in. It is required. It's going to be the same. So notice the form is the same. So we won't keep doing it on every area because you guys will pick up on this pretty quick. You must have a date. You must have the hours. Do 20 hours. Maybe this is going to be leadership. So I'm going to do 2.0 CEUs. Attach any files if needed. Since you're doing the bulk request, you're approving the credits. So I do know that I want to be leadership, and I'll do 2.0 CEUs. And then I can apply the credits. If you want to wait before applying, because we've not added any recipients yet, you can. You just have to close it and then come back here and go to the recipients tab. And here is where I can add recipients. I have a couple choices: to add recipients, to add recipients advanced. Add recipients. You can go through the list. Note, this is statewide. You probably want to search. You probably want to filter for your location. I'm just going to do see PD users out here. All right, so there's my PD users. There's the one I was working with a while ago. They attended this event, and I can add them selected. So it keeps you on this page so you can keep adding everybody that attended. The other option, let's see if I can come back, is to add recipients advanced. Notice you can use the employee ID, username in NCEES, they're the same. Employee ID, username is your UID. If you have a list of email addresses for all the staff. And then how am I going to input this? What kind of list do I have? Are they just line by line? Are they comma separated? Are they separated by tabs? Or do I have some other kind of delimiter, separator? So maybe I just have new lines. Then I would just come over here, copy and paste them in, or type them in, whatever you want to do. And then you can preview what you've put in, and you can come over here and click Add Recipient. Okay, so that is managing bulk requests. And then once it will show up on there. Okay, we talked about my request. New request for another user. I won't walk through all the steps, but the first part is you need to find the user. So let me just do. Once you start typing, their names will show up. I'm hoping. There we go. All right. So, and then you create, and it's going to open the form where you fill out all those required fields. Okay. And then the last one, the approval request administration. We'll see if this loads. It does load statewide. It may take a while. So it's going to give you a list similar to this. Where you can actually go through and just see what kind of status everybody's in. So here's some that need to be submitted. Here's some that are approved. There we go. It's going to tell you if it needs attention. You can show or hide filters. This was on several of our pages. So everything is already set to not show any archive. So if you want to look at archive, you need to change this filter or exit out. You can add additional filters in here to just show the ones that need attention and click Update Table. And then it should update for you. From there, you can click on the titles to update those approvals or denials. Okay. Best for a general credit. Then can I then go back and change individuals who need subject area credit? Angela, yes, I believe so. If you're the district administrator, it would probably have to be done on the transcript once it's on there. You could do individually update it on the transcript. Either that, or if you know there's a handful that are different, then I would just do a bulk credit request for the ones that get all the general, and then the ones that are approved for science or whatever other credit type, literacy, you could do a bulk request for that, or just go to the transcript and update it. Great. Good questions, Angela. Thank you. All right, this is going to take forever to load. So we're going to go back to the slides a minute while we're waiting for that. Make sure I covered everything. So here's your icons. We talked about that earlier. Anything that are pending, if they're pending pre-approval. We do not have the pre-approval process in North Carolina right now. It's just approve or deny it right now. So here's your guide. We finally got it together. As the vendor makes updates to the system, we'll let you guys know. We're hoping they lock it down so that you only have to deal with your location and not have to go through so many names on those bulk uploads if you were to put in a bunch. All right, we talked about all of that. Great. All right. Okay, let's look at the PD playlist. It's about 20 minutes. I think we can do this. Navigating the PD playlist. This is only in the header. I gave all our registrants PD playlist earlier today. You may need to refresh or go out and back into NCEES to see this. This usually does not take overnight to populate. Those other roles do. The PD playlist, though, usually populates pretty. Who can be a PD playlist person? This could be anybody that's a lead for PD in your district administrator, the people, or curators can add people to PD playlists, but they cannot actually do anything with the approvers. For people that are creating playlists, they would approve the credits that are on the playlist. These you can also give to people like your lead principals. Maybe you've got that teacher that's really outstanding and they're gung-ho for PD. You can also have them be curators or moderators out here. It is not restricted to district administrators or PD office administrators. Okay, so this professional development playlist feature allows principals, and I put this is a vendor's description, is any designated staff to create playlists of PLC's online or in-person professional development for their staff. You can target those playlists based on staff members' teaching profiles. And in addition, you can require or recommend specific professional development opportunities in the playlist and then track that participation. Here's just a quick list. Sorry, it's a little blurry, of what a playlist might look like. Courses can be required or elective. If you look down the screen, the required courses on this playlist are in dark blue. The elective courses are in green. You can give them completion criteria, and this arrow is pointing to that. Up here it says, if you're in this playlist, you must complete the 2 required courses and pick 2 of the 4 electives and complete those. Once they've completed everything, the system does give them a playlist certificate. That's outside of the certificates that they are earning for each of these courses. So know that they'll get their certificate for each course on their transcript, but then they'll have an overall playlist certificate. You can, and we won't look at this today, but you can give extra certificate CEUs on the playlist certificate. So if that's something you're interested in, ask me about it later, and we'll dig in and just see how we can do that. But that is available. All right. So note, the DPI must set your playlist moderators. You used to also have to set the curators and credit approvers. I can still do that. However, now when you create a playlist, and we'll get the guide updated, I think late last year it was updated where once you create a playlist, now you can add your own curators and credit approvers. So here are the roles. The moderator, they're responsible for creating and managing PD playlists. Their functions include adding participants and adding the courses in the playlist, managing any notifications. You can also have discussions within the playlist. So they would manage that. The PD playlist curator has the ability to add or remove participants for the playlist. All other functions they see will only be read-only. And then the credit approver, they're responsible for reviewing and approving PD playlist credit requests. So they give the final approval so the PD playlist becomes visible in the catalog. Okay. All right. They can also send that PD playlist back to the playlist moderator if changes need to be made. Get those roles, do the same thing. Somebody has to open a ticket, a request ticket, and you can attention Cami and Aaron, include the UID of the staff, the role to assign, and the location. And we'll get those assigned out. Here's your PD playlist creation guide. We'll jump over to the live side in just a second. It is a few pages, so do read over that. It is very detailed and does have screenshots for every step. All right, so I hope my voice holds out. I've been fighting a little bit of fall cold, I guess is what it is. But I think we'll get through here. So we're going to go to PD playlist this time. Maybe. There we go. Here's PD playlist. I do see everybody's playlist. I think you guys might can see it too. A lot of the PD side of the system is still kind of statewide. You should not be seeing any PII information. If you ever notice that, let me know. But you can see a lot of the statewide playlists that are created. Maybe that'll give you some ideas. I think you can see that. So in here is the Create PD Playlist button on the right. Notice we have the tab to manage PD playlists here, so you can manage any PD playlist. Copy it, delete it, hide it from this list. There's the link you can click on. Area to add PD playlist participants here. Okay, you can filter through those. All right, so let's get started. We're going to create a PD playlist. All right, so what do we want to do today? All right, so we'll just make something up. And if you have PD playlists, you can too. You can always delete it later. And we're going to click create. Angela, you don't see it yet. It may take a little bit. A lot of times, every once in a while, I have one or two people when I was be out in the field and we've had them. Sometimes they show right back up, and then other times it takes them a few minutes. But you should be able to see that. But let me, if I can go. Let me go make sure you're in the list. See if I can find you. Oh, you may not be in there. I'm going to add everybody. Let's try this. Angela, do you mind if I search for you? Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Which district? Do you see yourself? In Piedmont. Okay. Thank you. Oh, we had a holistic. All right. So we've got Piedmont selected. Okay. So you should now be in the list. You should be getting that PD playlist shortly, I hope. All right. Again, same thing as Transfer Credit Manager. The little asterisk denote required field. So here's the title is required. The description is not, but you can put in a description. When is this going to start? It started on the 18th. When is it going to end? I think this will be, we'll just do it next week for a sample. Do I want to include this in my course catalog? Anytime there's a question mark, you can hover over it. If you put it in the catalog, anyone can find it and join your playlist. So there are times you may not want this in the catalog. Do you want to enable the certificate? And this is not the certificate on each course. This is the certificate on the PD playlist. So if you enable it, that's a checkbox. Okay. Here's the moderator. So this is the updates the vendor has done. I am already a moderator. Now I can add other moderators here. I should be able to search for them here. If I want to filter by the site, I can do that first to help narrow my list. But this is where I would add other moderators. So I can add another moderator, check their box, and see how many results I'm getting. This is statewide, so be very careful adding. So this moderator can manage the courses and everything. Curators, they can only add and remove people. So maybe I want somebody to do that. I'll add them. All right. I'm going to have to ask about credit approvers and see if we're not using that in North Carolina, because I was noticing that yesterday when I was finishing up my slides that I don't see that link anywhere. So I'll ask my vendor about the credit approvers. I think it's because we weren't actually adding a whole lot of additional credit on a playlist as a rule. Do you want to attach any files that gives the person information about this playlist? You can do that. Are you allowing extra credit on the transcript, and what would that credit be? And then this is where that submit for approval comes in. So let me find out about the credit approver, if the moderator can just do that, or if we must have credit approvers. All right. And then I don't want to add any extra credit for completing this playlist. I'll just click save. And maybe it'll save. I think I've got everything. Maybe it did save. It didn't. Let's see. Just checking. Yep. So apparently it stays on the tab, and you can move to the next tab. All right. So participants, you have several choices here. Do you want to hide a participant list? No, not really. Do I want to allow participants to invite others? Not really. Do I want to allow participants to withdraw from my playlist? Now you decide about your playlist. Is this a required playlist? Or are you going to let them withdraw from a playlist? You can check that box there. All right, so how do I add participants? Here's the participant list. You want to edit the participants. Okay, so you can do a bunch of different things. You have dynamic rules. You can add a dynamic rule that puts a whole lot, it looks for people that meet the rule. You can do by site. Do I want everybody in a certain site? You can do by demographics. Do I want only the people I have access to that are teacher, leader, special pops? You do like that. Do I want to do by admin type that they have in the NCEES system? Is this only going to be for my lead principals to take? There you go. By current staff position. In NCEES, people come in as instructional or administrative. We don't use any of the rest of this. So your support staff and teachers are all under instructional. Principal, superintendents, and such are under administrative. Directors are under administrative. You can search by role. Maybe you want these people to take this playlist, the office administrators. There's plenty to choose from. You don't have to set any of this. This is going to tell the system to please populate my list. Okay. I don't want to include inactive users. I find that funny sometimes. That's a lot in the system, a lot. I'm going to cancel this. I don't want to add any dynamic rules. If I were to have set already up a staff group, like my beginning teacher staff group, well, yeah, then I might want to use this as staff group and search for my staff group and add them. If it's a dynamic rule, then when you add a new person to that staff group, they'll automatically be added to that rule. Here's the manually add members. This is what most of you will be doing if you've not published it to the catalog and tell people to go search for it and sign up for it. So you can add users. This is very similar to what we did before. You're going to come in here, search for names, and then add them. There's Add User Advanced. This is that same thing that you can use the email address, employer username, which is your UID list, decide how it is separated by comma, by new line, tab, and then paste it in the list here. Preview the list and click Done. And then click Next. All right, so I'm only going to add one person on here right now. Now I can go back. All right, we got about 5 minutes. You add the courses here. You're going to click Add Courses. Courses have to be in NCEES. So your local courses, your DPI courses that are in NCEES, you can add. So let's just pick a few. Pick 5. I'm going to add my courses. No, you can filter for courses and you can search for courses. All right, so put check marks on my courses that I selected. Oh, I lost my list. All right, there's a quick way to find your list if you lost your list. Here's the discussion tab. I don't know anybody that's using this right now, but you can add a discussion criteria. And somebody has to moderate this, so decide that before you add discussion. Notifications. Do you want to send a message to participants when you add them to this list? Go ahead and set that up here. And how should they get it? By targeted announcements, which is only in NCEES under that envelope icon at the top, or by email and targeted announcement, or just by email. And then do you want to send a message to participants when they are completed? Same thing. Status is where you're going to check the status of your playlist. All right. So right now, nothing is available because I've not released this playlist. You must release the playlist. It cannot be viewed by participants until you release it. Okay, and there it is. So I know we have only got about 3 minutes, but that is the gist of PD playlists and creating those playlists. Do you have any questions, Angela, about today? If not, I'll jump back to the slides real quick so we can go over some resources. All right, so there are PD reports for administrators in the system. Note that any reports are restricted by your rights and location. In NCEES, you can navigate to quick reports, and we'll have a few slides that actually show some of this. I just wanted to give you a list of reports that were available. So there's quick reports for Office Administrator Transcript report. Maybe you want to know who's got professional development offices and roles as you've been adding people over the year. Maybe you just want to clarify who's in there and who shouldn't be. And then you can also go to staff dashboards and browse staff by site. We looked at that earlier. There is the actual learning opportunity reports out there. So look at that and the dashboards. All the rest of that is dashboard reports. This is very important. A lot of our districts are creating PD playlists for beginning teachers, lateral entry teachers. I think they're called something different now. But some of the districts were telling me that their payroll would not put the person active until they got their first paycheck after 30 days of employment. That is no longer a rule. Staff should be activated in staff UID as quickly as possible. That makes sense. So with the NCEES system, you want them in there as of the first day of school so that they can complete orientation and so that they can also do their PD that's required. So this is a notice that you can share with your HR and payroll departments that Staff UID put out. We worked with Staff UID to get this announcement put out this year. We did send it to all finance HR, but you might want to share it as well. Here's what the PD reports look like. If you're going to the Quick Reports module, this is what the Office Administrator Transcript Report pulls on the left. And then if you go to Reporting and scroll down to My Ad Hoc Reports, if you're a district administrator, you can create reports and publish them. They are published under the Reporting tab, My Ad Hoc Reports. So this is where you would go if your DA has published a report that you can run. As people build out PD, you may want some reports created and have them published out here if they're not DAs. So DAs can actually go to the ad hoc reporting. They go to System Admin, Ad Hoc Reporting Restricted, come out here and search for a report. Here's a transcript report down here at the bottom. They can click New Report and they can run their own reports. They can save their own reports. Then decide if it needs to be published out for the principals to run, say. They can publish it to the principal group. If you're interested in these credits transferring from T&L, it used to be called T&L, now NCEES, but the process is still called T&L, to HRMS, this is the help from HRMS. We're working with Cumberland now on some issues about getting these over. If you have HRMS, this is your help guides. Remember that any PD in the system by DBI is free. Take advantage of that. Advise your staff to take advantage of that. Remember that the districts do have that final say on approval, though, of what the credit type is. Here's a good link to our new Google site for NCEES support. And I see it's 5 o'clock, so we'll be wrapping this up. These are our October offerings, so we are on the last one for October. There is an AP webinar October 29th, so do look for that if your APs are interested. It's for the new APs. There's a link up here at the top to go see and register for your webinars. So if we don't have any further questions, Angela, thanks for joining us today. And Shannon, I'm sorry I didn't see you out there. Thank you for joining as well. I did put in the handouts, the 2 help guides, and they will be included in the follow-up email within 24 hours. So thank you so much for joining us today. Do share out. I hope you guys let me know how it goes. Do email me if you have any questions, any issues. Just email me straight. I will, if I need to follow up on issues, I will need a ServiceNow ticket though. So thank you guys again. If we have no further questions, you guys go have a great evening.